Child's pose. Knees are apart to make room for your belly to expand with your breath. And hold the pose. Relax. Feel the back of your body expand with the inhale as well as your belly. Feel the lengthening of the spine when you inhale. Allow it to happen. Expand. And that lifts you up a little bit with your belly pressing down. Exhale and relax into the pose. Buttocks to your heels or in that general direction. If you can't compress your knees that much, you can always put a blanket on your calves to make sitting back a little bit higher. And Merry Christmas. Yeah, Merry Christmas too. Happy New Year, everybody. It is a new year. Yesterday morning we had that red dawn, and at least here we had good weather. So come back up to hands and knees. Do some cat-cow, arching inward and downward. That's the arch, rounding up like a Halloween cat. Inhale, when you arch downward, your chest opens. You look a little bit forward. Exhale when you round up, squeezing in the belly. Exhaling out all the breath. Keep moving slowly. See how slow you can move. Try to move at the speed of your breath and try to make your breath slow. Now come back to a neutral spine. Reach your left leg back and your right arm straight forward. Please don't lift your left leg high. Have it parallel to the floor. And that may feel high to you. You might want to kind of glance back and see where your leg is. Try to at least have it parallel to the floor, but not higher if you need to. Because of backs, you can have it a little bit lower. Try to have it straight. Your right arm is straight, your left leg is straight, and you're trying to, as if you're trying to reach to opposite sides, opposite walls. Hold the pose. Again, if you're jiggling around because of balance, lower your leg and your arm and shift your supporting leg and hand out a little bit or someplace. So you're more stable, and then come back up. Lower that left leg and right arm and change sides, right leg, left arm, reaching out, balancing. Leg muscles are active. Find one place to focus on, maybe 45 degrees out from your eyes, maybe straight down. Don't let your head hang and don't lift it way up and look straight forward. Look a little bit forward. Welcome back, everybody. If you weren't here Saturday, welcome back. There's something I was going to say about Saturday, but oh yeah, were you sore if you came Saturday? I was. I did the whole routine with everybody. Come back to hands and knees. Now reach your hands a little bit forward rather than arms straight down from the shoulders. Curl your toes under and keep your hands there. Spread your fingers and push back to downward dog with both knees slightly bent. That rounds your back. Sometimes having straight leg when it arches your back a little bit is too much for backs. You can always do downward dog with your knees slightly bent if you want. Then press your right heel to the mat, bend your left knee a little bit more. Press your left heel to the mat, bend your right knee a little bit more. Keep alternating, warming up the back of the leg, gentle stretch on the calf, the hamstring, padding under your wrists if you need it. Sorry about the music. It was going to be John Two Hawks. It was going to be just nice, gentle stuff. Maybe it got used to rock and roll. And press both heels to the mat. Knees bent or straight, depending on what works for your back. And always, always move into a pose slowly if you can. You might not be able to move into lunges slowly because of the nature of the pose, especially if you're going from downward dog. But otherwise, and especially move into stretches slowly. Slowly, lift your right leg up for three-legged dog, but don't tilt sideways. Stay with both hips even, belly, low belly facing the mat, rather than turning sideways. Just to get your leg up higher. This is the strengthening pose. And don't assume that you can only go so far with your right lifted leg without tilting over. Try to lift it a little bit higher. It should be challenging. That right leg lifted should be challenging. You should feel the leg working and the glutes. Now you can lower to your knees if you want, and then step the right foot forward, or from three-legged dog, step the right foot forward, knee over heel, shin straight up and down. Just hold the lunge, a little bit deeper warm up, have a stretch. And in a lunge, if your right leg gets tired, you can lower the left knee down, but don't bring it forward. Lower it down back there. And you can point the toes when it's down and curl them back under when we need to. Keep your left hand down, reach your right hand up, twist, don't push back with your right arm behind your shoulder. Reach it straight up, lengthen your spine. Do an inhale and feel your spine lengthen even in this pose. You can lengthen your spine. Again, you can do this with the left knee down. Lower your right arm back down. Step back to downward dog. Lower to your hands and knees. And rest for a moment in child's pose. Now, if your left side is not facing the camera, so that when you turn center, you'd be facing the camera, change your position now, so your left side is facing the camera. Rest in child's pose. Come back up to hands and knees. Push back to downward dog. Lift your left leg up. Hold it, don't tilt sideways. Keep your left front of your left hip facing the mat. Hold the pose. Try to make your left leg straight. Three-legged dog. And I don't know the Sanskrit for that. Downward dog is Adho, I think. Mukha Sanasana, I think. It's been a long time. I need to start using it more often. Facing. Mukha, Mukho, Mukha. And again, however you can get there. Left leg forward in the lunge. Hold the lunge. Right hand down, left hand up. Straight line, rotate from the hips, from the waist. Not pulling back with your arm on your shoulder. Lengthen your spine. Lower down. Step back to downward dog. And rest in child's pose. You can rest in child's pose with your arms beside you or extended, whatever feels like you're getting the best stretch and best ability to relax completely. Now we're going to be doing some sun salutations. So if you need extra padding underneath your wrist, because there's plank, there's downward dog, fold up the end of the mat or do whatever you normally do. You know, with plank, if you can't lower down to chaturanga or low plank or crocodile, then you lower your knees in plank. So you're in plank, and you lower your knees back where I have them. And then you can just do a gentle up dog from there if you want. You don't have to arch very much. You can do this, or you can do more of an up dog. You can lift your knees up if you're comfortable with doing that. But you can stay here, just on your knees in plank while we do everything else. And then you can go through hands and knees to downward dog. You can always do, and you should always do it that way if it aggravates your back or if you have back issues. But anyway, we're going to do some gentle versions of it first, as we always do. So come back up to hands and knees. Step your right foot forward. Lift your left leg up. And step to forward bend. You need about a foot from the end of the mat to your toes to give yourself some room. Just stretch down, let your knees bend. Feel the difference. Straightening your legs, holding your shins if you need to, and lift your back a little bit, and then bend your knees a little bit. You feel the difference in your low back. Bending your knees kind of rounds your low back. If you have back issues, do a forward bend with knees bent, or if your hamstrings are tight. Take your arms out to the side, inhale up. Arms overhead. You can have the elbows bent if you need to. Oh, you can't even see my head. That might be a good thing. I'll fix that in a minute. Curve to the right. You can let your hips go left, or you can keep them centered over your feet. Don't let your head touch your lower arm, your right arm, and don't let your left arm touch your head. So you shouldn't be resting your arm on your head or your head on your arm or blah, 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 blah. Any of that. Inhale your way back up. And exhale, crescent moon to the other side. Inhale your way back up. Separate your hands. You can do this with what's called cactus arms, elbows bent. I'm going to turn, but you keep facing the way you were. Or you can do it with arms up, or you can do it with arms reaching straight forward. Chair pose. Sit back like you're about to sit in a chair. So you lean forward in the upper body, but don't lean. I mean, you don't go sitting back like this, right? You just lean forward a little bit. And shift your weight so that you have a little bit more weight on your heels than the balls of your feet. Slowly come up, swan dive, flat back. See how my back is flat for as long as I can. That'll depend on your hamstrings. If your hamstrings are tight, you'll start to round at a certain point. But try to keep it flat. And my arms are not higher than my shoulders, they're straight up. And just lower down and hold your shins right below the knees to start, even if you are more flexible. Hold your shins, bend your knees a little bit. Lift your chest forward without compressing the back of your neck. You're looking a little bit forward, but you don't have your head up real high. And again, try to flatten your back. Monkey. Hanumanasana, one of the versions of monkey. You can always do it this way and then lower your hands down and we'll go into a lunge. Monkey is done with an inhale because you're opening your chest a little bit. I mean, then we make it a flow. Then lower down, take your arms out to the side, inhale all the way back up. And this time, put your palms together in Namaste in front of your chest and keep going forward, flat back for as long as possible. And then lower your hands to wherever your shins, your ankles, the mat. And lift your chest, bending your knees a little bit if you need to. Flatten your back. And then forward bend again. Reverse swan dive, arms out to the side, flatten, but don't pull yourself up with your arms. Your arms don't go higher than your shoulders. And then they come up, arms overhead. And again, forward bend. Exhaling as you forward bend. Inhale as you do monkey, whatever version you're doing. Slowly. Exhale, forward bend again. Inhale, arms out to the side and up. You don't pull yourself up with your arms. Now you can swan dive, forward bend. Exhaling. Inhale, monkey. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, arms out to the side again. They don't go higher than your shoulders. And up. Palms together, forward bend. Monkey, inhale. Exhale, forward bend again. Inhale up. And exhale to chair. Hold it. And we're going to step back and put our knee down for the gentle version of Sun Salutations from monkey. Try to go with the flow of your breath. We've been doing this for years now. You know that when you close, okay, come all the way up. I'm going to talk a little bit and release. You know that forward bend is always an exhale. You know downward dog is always an exhale. Anytime you lift your chest, it's an inhale. It's plank is a inhale because it's a neutral. I mean, you can do an inhale or an exhale, but because we want to flow with the breath, we know we come from downward dog, which is an exhale. So we inhale to plank, and we exhale down to chaturanga, or you just lower your knees, and so on and so forth. So every time you move, it's the other half of the breath. If you lift your arms with an inhale, the next thing you do is an exhale. The next thing you do is an inhale, and so on. Just do the best you can. We're going to do it with the knees down, going to child's pose instead of downward dog. So inhale, arms out to the side and up. You can swan dive, or you can put your palms together and exhale to a forward bend. Control your breath. Squeeze the back of your throat. Inhale, monkey, your version. Exhale, right foot back, knee down. The left knee is over the left heel. Inhale, hands and knees. Another neutral. Exhale, child's pose. Exhaling, breathing as you move. Inhale, back up to hands and knees. Exhale, right foot forward between your hands. Inhale, lift the left knee up. Exhale, step to forward bend. Inhale all the way up, reverse swan dive. Whatever you're doing with the arms, exhale, forward bend. Inhale, monkey. Exhale, step the left foot back and lower the knee down. Watch that right knee. Inhale, hands and knees. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, back up to hands and knees. Exhale, left foot forward. Inhale, lift the right knee. Lunge. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale all the way up. And exhale, palms together, namaste. We're going to do that one more time. I'm going to check messages. Okay, we're good. Remember you can adjust your feet. If you step back into a lunge, your foot isn't stuck there. Adjust your feet so that you are balanced, so that the bent knee is over the heel. And if you notice when I go back to child's pose, I adjust my knees. They're not stuck there. So adjust as you get into a pose. You have enough time, even with the breath, to do a little bit of adjusting to make it better alignment or more comfortable. Okay, we're going to do gentle. And notice when we do sun salutations, because that keeps me reminded of where we are, we always step the right foot back first into the lunge. And then at the end, we step the right foot forward into the lunge. So we're lunging on both sides already. And then when we do the second side, we step the left foot back first, and then the left foot forward. So whichever foot goes back at the beginning is the foot that steps forward at the end. So we do both sides both times. And that way I know when the left foot is back, we're on the second time around. Anyway, mountain, still gentle. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, swan dive or hands together, forward bend. Inhale, monkey. Exhale, right foot back, knee down. Step it way back there. Inhale, hands and knees. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, back up. Hands and knees, moving as you breathe. Exhale, right foot forward. Notice I move my right hand out of the way to get my right foot forward. Inhale, left knee lifts. Exhale, forward bend, and I push off with that back foot, the left foot. Reverse swan dive, inhale up. Exhale, forward bend. Monkey. Left foot back, knee down gently, but it still steps way back there because you're going to do plank next time. Inhale, hands and knees. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, hands and knees. Exhale, left foot forward. Inhale, lift the right knee up. Exhale, step to forward bend. Reverse swan dive. Inhale, up. Exhale, namaste. Excuse me. Now we're going to do full sun salutation with your modifications, which you already know you need to do, you should do. We're going to do it twice. And that doesn't mean right side and left side. That means right side, left side, left side, twice. And then we'll start adding other things. We'll stop in the first, we'll step back lunge, then we'll maybe come up to some standing poses. So anyway, 2 sun salutations, moving as best you can with your breath. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, monkey. Exhale, right leg back. Inhale, plank. And I'll meet you back in downward dog from here. You can exhale down to chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. And exhale to down dog. Inhale, walk forward to monkey. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, up. Swan dive. Monkey. Left foot back. Plank. Whatever you do here, you go back to downward dog. Walk or jump. Monkey. Forward bend. Inhale up. And exhale. Release. So, we need to turn so that your right side is facing the camera. Come to the front of your mat. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, swan dive, or however you're doing forward bend. Inhale, monkey. This is the last time. Exhale. No, this is the one we come up. Exhale, right leg back. Don't go any further. Turn your right foot, lower your heel, reach your right arm up, and pull yourself up into a warrior two. And adjust, of course, as needed. Lift your chest, press your arms down, hold the pose. Look over your left fingers, front fingers. Take a deep inhale here, and exhale back down to the lunge. Plank, and so on until we're all back in downward dog. Forward monkey. Well, you know what we're doing now. Inhale, arms up. If you can't see the video, you won't need to. Swan dive. Monkey. Left foot back. Lower your left heel. And come up into a warrior two. Lift your left arm up, pull yourself up. Hold the pose. Inhale, holding it, so you can exhale back to the lunge where we started. Inhale, plank, and however you get to downward dog. And walk or jump. Forward bend. Reverse swan dive, inhale up. Exhale, release. Now, if you're used to, and some of you have been doing this with me, you can lunge forward from downward dog. And it's again, if you were first time through, right leg goes back, so right leg lunges forward. Second time, left leg back, so left leg lunges forward. If you can get it up there, or you can pull it up. Some of you pull it up with your hand. As long as you can get it up there, your foot is flat and your knee is over the heel, ultimately, right? But you can continue to walk forward or jump forward. And if you lunge forward, that's your inhale. If you walk forward, then you go to monkey, and that's your inhale. And with the lunge, when you step the back foot forward, so you're in a forward bend, that's your exhale. So if you're lunging forward, it's an inhale. If you're walking forward, you walk forward to monkey, and that's an inhale. And then we're all together to do the forward bend. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to do the right foot with the lunge and the left foot with walking forward, so you can see both. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, monkey. Exhale, right foot back. Lower the heel. Right arm lifts. Pull yourself up to warrior two with an inhale. And exhale into triangle. And hold the pose. Watch your lifted arm. It doesn't pull back. Lengthen your spine. Front knee is straight but soft. It's not locked. Now inhale back up to warrior two. So we can exhale back down to the lunge where we started. And then we'll meet you back in downward dog. You hold downward dog for a second. Now either walk or lunge with your inhale to either monkey or lunge. And then everybody exhale, forward bend. And inhale up. Exhale, forward bend. Monkey. Left foot lunge. Lower your heel, lift your left arm, inhale up to warrior two. And exhale, triangle, tilt your pelvis. Inhale back up to warrior two. Exhale to the lunge. And inhale to hands and knees or to plank. And however you get back to downward dog with your exhale. Inhale, lunge or monkey. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale up. And exhale, namaste. All right, come to seated. Sun salutations are considered a complete routine, a complete workout, and it is, even without the standing poses. And if you think you can't remember, you'd be surprised what you can remember if you just open your mat, stand on your mat, and start moving. it'll come to you. If not, one of the YouTube videos is Sun Salutations. So you can always use that, and they're on YouTube, on a number of places, a lot of people. It's a regular routine. Look for power yoga or Ashtanga, although Ashtanga, well, beginning might be okay. They do it a little bit differently in the beginning, but you can find them. So cross-legged, left leg in front. Inhale, lengthen, lift your sternum. And exhale, reach out again with a flat back for as long as you can, reaching forward. And then let yourself round down and hold the stretch. Use your inhale to lift yourself back up. Use your exhale to guide you into a twist to the left. Don't lean. Don't lean to the left. Don't lean back. Fingertips behind you if need be. Lift your sternum, lengthen your spine, separate your vertebrae, hold the pose. Again, you never do a seated twist if you currently have bulging or ruptured disc. Gravity, the fact that you're seated, and the weight of your body presses down on your spine and the disc between. So you rotate on that. You're just going to move. You may just bulge it more. So it's important, even with a healthy spine and disc, to keep yourself lifted and long. Keep your spine long in a twist. As you inhale back to center, change legs, right leg in front. Use your exhale to carry you slowly forward and down into the stretch. Hold the pose. Allow your inhale, when it comes, to slowly lift you up. And with your exhale, slowly twist your left buttock down and go arching your back in and lifting the left buttock up. Equal pressure on both sides. And lengthen your spine. Hold the pose. As you get tired, you're going to start rounding your back. Be aware when that happens. Lengthen back up. Shoulders relaxed. In a gentle class today, we're going to do our regular gentle, great for the back warm-up. And we're going to do more things for the back, to stretch it, to release tension. So if you want to stay, you can skip the core part and come back at 11:45, or just watch, come back to center. Sit wide. Seated, wide-legged. Sideways stretch, stretch to the right. Try to not rotate, try to stay sideways. Don't turn just to touch your toes. It's not about touching the toes. It's about stretching this side of the body, stretching the hips in here and in here. Hold it. If it hurts your shoulder, obviously, you don't reach your arm. You can reach it up. You can rest your hand, rest on your shoulder. But you can still stretch down toward your leg. Still sideways. Hold it a little bit longer. I do not know why we don't have music since we had Saturday, and I haven't touched this computer since then. I don't think touched it. Slowly back up. Side stretch to the left. Look up to the ceiling. That's one way to tell if your arm's in front of your face, along your cheek, then you're probably not staying sideways. Hold it. Slowly back up. Stretch straight forward. You can just do it a little bit because it's going to be strong on the back. Even if you are more flexible and you can go down, if you have low back pain, you might want to not go down. You might want to stay back. One thing you may find when you practice yoga regularly, or any kind of fitness routine that works your muscles, when you stretch afterwards, and you should always stretch, no matter what your routine is, stretch afterwards when the muscles are warm, so you actually stretch the muscles. You may find that sometimes you can't stretch as far, even if you did all the regular warm-up stuff, because your muscles adapt and they learn to do things in a conservative way. So they may not be as warmed up. You may not. So that's one of the reasons you need to always go into stretch slowly. Never assume anything. Slowly come back up. Arms of your feet together. And do a bound angle forward bend, last pose, and then we'll start core. Again, I apologize for no music. It is what it is. And slowly back up. And let's start standing with core. Feet hip distance or a little more, whatever your balance is, because you're going to be lifting one leg. You're going to be reaching opposite elbow to opposite knee, and you don't have to touch your knee, but try to bring it up, at least past the hip joint, so you actually do use the abs and not just the quadriceps. So, right knee to left elbow first, toward it, if you don't touch it, left to right, and keep moving. After you find your center, after you find your balance and you find one place to focus with your eyes, you can start to move more slowly. One more time, right to left. One more time, left to right. Stand wide. Hands on your hips. Your elbows can be back a little bit. Not way back, right? They're just kind of naturally go that way. Holding them forward brings your shoulders forward. So just relaxed, relaxed, hands on your hips as far as your arms go. And keep a flat back. Keep your arms relaxed. They're just resting on your hips. And then go forward. And come back up. But don't go all the way down. Feel your back. Try to do it with your back rounding. So only go as far as you can go with your back staying straight. Keep moving. Don't let your head hang. That pulls your back down. That rounds your back. But don't look forward either. So your neck is in a nice straight line to begin with, and keep it there. So keep your arms and shoulders relaxed. Tighten your abs. A few more times. This is for the abs, even though the back is working. You want to learn to do this kind of thing using your abs. Again, your arms are relaxed, so your elbows are going to be a little bit behind your torso, but not a lot. And you don't pull with your arms to lift up. You tighten your abs. Last one. Good. Come to lying on your backs. We're going to do these 7 times. And I know, we haven't been here for a while. So you know ahead of time we're going to do these. You're lying on your back. I'm going to be there in a minute. But I want to face the camera while I talk. Since you know we're going to do these 7 times, if you want, do 2, rest for 1, do 2, rest for 1, and do 1 more. If that's how the math works, I don't know. But anyway, you know we're going to do 7. You can do 3 and rest for 1 and do 3 more. Do whatever you can do. Try to do all 7. Try to push yourself, but be kind to yourself at the same time. Being kind does mean challenging yourself physically and mentally, but it also means not overdoing it. So if you know you're going to be really sore because you haven't been doing anything, then be light with yourself today. And you can gradually start to make things harder as we go along. We're going to do that yoga core routine, which is hugging the knees in, and then lifting them up and lowering them down. If you have back issues, you start and end with your knees bent. Feet on the mat. This is your ending point and your beginning point. You don't slide them straight. Keep them here. And if you feel this for a moment, straighten your legs and feel how that lifts your low back off the mat, right? So you need to use your abs to push your low back down. And if it doesn't want to go down, or your abs aren't feeling very strong today, or you tend to have low back pain, do this with your knees bent, start and finish. All the other in-between moves are the same. And again, you can rest when you need to, right? And arms overhead, you don't have to reach them straight overhead. You can take them out to the side. Your elbows bent, your elbows shoulder height. They're maybe a little bit higher than shoulders. You need to be aware and not strain your shoulders. The arms moving works the upper abs a little bit more. The legs moving works the lower abs a little bit more. But the arms moving can start, they don't have to be from overhead. They can start from elbows bent out to the side. You don't have to have them straight out to the side, elbows bent. Start with either your starting position is our knees bent, feet on the mat, or legs straight. Arms out to the side, elbows bent, or arms overhead. Ready? Bring both knees up to your chest, bring your arms up. Hug your knees in, keep your head down. Legs up in the air, arms back to whatever your starting position is. Legs slowly back down to your starting position. Try to move at my speed. If you get someplace before I do, wait until we catch up. If you're a little bit later, speed up just a tiny bit. That was one. That'll keep you with us and knowing when you can rest. This is two. Knees up, arms up, hug. Legs up to the ceiling, legs together, arms back to starting position, legs back to starting position. This is three. If you're going with straight legs, try to keep pushing down on your back as you lower the legs to the mat. This is four. If you keep your legs gently squeezed together, so there's a little activity there in the muscles, it's a little bit easier. Tighten your abs. 5. 6. And you will find with your arms overhead that arches your back a little bit too. So if you need to, even if it's for the low back, have your arms out to the side. 7. Now we're going to bring our head to our knees. Everything else is the same. Your starting position, wherever it is. Knees to chest, head to knees. Hug. And then lower your head, arms back to starting position, legs overhead, legs down. 2. Move slowly. Make it work. If you're going to do it, get all the benefits you can. And moving slowly. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. Again, as you know, if you can't lift your legs straight up to the ceiling, you don't have to. But don't have them out here. Bend your knees so your thighs are straight up. Right? When you lift them up, you don't have to lift them so they're straight. Okay, next set is reaching your hands past your knees as you lift your head. You don't hug them in now. But you bring your knees into your chest as far as you can, just using ab muscles. So starting position, whatever that is for you. Knees to chest, head to knee, press past your legs. And then legs up, head down, arms back to starting position, legs back to starting position. 2, press, legs up, and back to starting position. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whoops. I was in the groove. Okay. That was 8 instead of 7. Next set is reaching between your legs and touching your feet, lifting your head. Everything else is the same. Your starting position with your legs and your arms. Bring your knees to your chest and separate them, and reach between your legs and touch your feet. And then head down, arms starting, legs up, legs to starting. You can bend your knees just a little bit if you want with the starting position. 2, and up, and down. 3, and up, legs together when you go up. Starting position. I hope I get the count right this time. 4, 5, 2 more, 6, 1, 7, 8. Now this next one, you're going to bring your knees to the side. So you're going to bring your knees up and a little bit to the right. As you lift your shoulders and you press forward, but to the left side of your legs. And then they come center, and you lift up and you go back to your starting position. We'll alternate sides. Knees right first, then knees left. Your starting position. Knees up right, lift your head, press your arms to the left, forward and to the left, knees center, head down, arms overhead, legs up, legs down. Your starting position. Knees left, press right. Legs up, legs down. Knees right, press left, and up, and down. Knees left, press right. This is 2, and up, and down. 3, 3, 2, 4, 4. And if it starts to hurt your neck, keep your head down. We'll put one hand behind your head. 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, and 7. Okay, let's take a moment to hug both knees in toward your chest. Don't lift up your shoulders to your ears. Keep them relaxed. Rock a little bit, just a little bit, side to side, just massaging your back, and with the knees in, stretching your back. Cup your hands over the tops of the knees. Keep your legs together. Little circles. Not taking them to the floor, just little circles. Again, massaging. And go the other way around. And lower down your legs. Let's come to hands and knees. Knees under hips, wrists under shoulders. Let's do some cat-cow. Padding under your wrists if you need it. Again, loosen up the back a little bit. Even though that was for abs, back does get involved. So let's keep it loose. Right leg straight back, toe touching the mat. And slowly lift your right leg up, just a parallel. Don't lift it up into the air, just parallel, nice and straight. Touch it back down. Keep the knee straight. 2, and touch. Try not to bend your left elbow. 3, 4, 5. Legs straight but not locked. 6, 7. My foot is flexed so my toes can touch down. 8, and that tightens the muscles. Flexing your foot, so you might not be able to lift as high, which is good. 10, lower down, left leg back, but you might think I can usually lift higher. Well, when your foot is flexed, you're pulling on the back of the leg, so it's harder to lift it as high. 1, touch down. 2, touch. All you need to do is feel the muscles in the glutes and the low back working. 5, I think. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now this next one's for the pelvic floor, but it does work your glutes and it works your back. But this is something that would be beneficial for us, especially women, to do every day, once a day or so. It can be a bit challenging on the shoulders, but try not to let your shoulders shrug up. Try to keep them down. Try to tighten, use your arm muscles, and try to get the good alignment as far as through the shoulders and the arms so that it is less challenging on your shoulders. It's kind of like plank pose. So let's start on hands and knees first. Put your forearms down. I have my forearms angled in. I'm going to do it this way. I think it's easier this way. My forearms are angled in. And I spread my fingers and my thumb tips touch, so they're not angled in very far. And then I check my upper arm to make sure it's straight up and down. It's not reaching forward and it's not back. It's straight up and down my upper arm, which means that arm bone is right below the shoulder. Both sides. And feel secure here. Stretch your right leg back straight. And then lower the knee. Stretch your left leg back straight and lower the knee. And have your have your toes also turned under. So because you're going to lift your knees off the mat. That's all you do. You don't lift your hips up. You try to just basically straighten your legs. So check your elbows again. Mine needed to be adjusted after I put my arms back. It changed the relationship in my upper arm. And just straighten your legs and lower your knees down. Straighten and lower. 3. Try not to let your head hang down. 4. If you feel it too much in your shoulders, stay down a little bit and adjust your arms a little bit. 5. You can even have your elbows out a little bit, but try to have them right under your shoulders. 6. Out wide. 7. 8. 9. Notice I'm not lifting up. I'm just straightening my legs. 10. Walk slowly back. Separate your knees slowly. Stretch your low back in child's pose. You can stack your hands. Let your forehead rest on your stacked hands. Stay there for a moment. And this next one is also good. We do this one regularly for the low back and the glutes to support the hips in the back and the low back to support the back and the hips by strengthening those back muscles. But first, let's do that first. So lay on your belly, stack your hands. Forehead is going to be on your stacked hands. You're going to keep your forehead stuck to your hands so you don't lead with your head pulling on your neck to come up. Point your toes. Your legs are all the way down. You're going to lift your chest. Your arms without lifting without pulling up with your arms and your shoulders. And your nice straight legs. And it's not a very high lift. Try to intentionally keep it low. Even if you can lift high, that's because your low back muscles are strong. We want to intentionally keep it lower so we work more than just the low back. So we work the mid back and the upper back. So with a small curve, forehead on your hands, lift your legs and lift your arms. See, look at me. That's all the higher you need to or you should go. And back down. Lift and lower. I'm lifting enough that my knees are coming off. My legs are straight. Keep moving. Slow lift, slow lower. Rest when you need to. And try not to lift up too high. Try to just enough that you activate the whole back, all the muscles, the whole back of the body. A few more times. And lower down. Work your way back once again into child's pose, sitting toward your heels, on your heels or at least toward your heels. Stretch your back, relax. Okay, come over onto your right side. You can prop your head in your hand, but you don't want to be all the way up on your elbow. You want to be down. Head in your hand, or you can rest your head on the inside of your arm with your elbow bent or your arms straight. And if that doesn't work, you can have one of those little throw pillow kind of pillows, or a block, and just have your arm forward, which is actually pretty nice if the block weren't quite as hard. Then stack your hips and straighten your legs out. And stack. Now, see how one hip, top hip will try to move back as we do this, because the quadriceps are what want to work to lift your legs, and we don't want to use the quadriceps all that much, not the front. But that's it. Your body will adjust to make it easier for you. So you won't even be aware of it. You won't be doing it intentionally. But as you lift your legs, you may roll back and you'll get your legs up higher. But that doesn't work the muscles we're trying to work in this. We're trying to work the muscles that are supporting the SI joint that work sideways across your body, supporting that SI joint. So check, look down. It's okay if your head comes forward a little bit. So look down. See if your heels are lined up with your hips, and your hips lined up with your shoulders, and your hips one right above the other. And even if you want to, you can even move that top hip a little bit forward. That moves the motion a little bit more towards your back. That's a little bit more challenging, and it might be painful if you have low back issues to move your hip forward. And if you find that you absolutely cannot do this, keeping your hips stacked, if you have to roll back, then that's okay. That's not going to hurt anything. You just won't be working the area we want to work. The other thing you might want to do, now that you've been here for a while, is put a blanket underneath from your waist down your legs. If the floor or the mat and the rug or whatever, it's too hard on the leg or the hips, it's on the floor, and it can be. Okay, so now you're all set. Top hand is in front of you for balance. You're doing whatever you need to do with your head. I'm going to lift up so you can hear me a little bit better, maybe. And keep an eye, let your head come forward at first. And keep an eye on that top hip and with both legs up. Again, look, it's not very far. I'm getting maybe my bottom knee, the side of my knee off, but I'm not lifting up real high, which would cause me to roll back. It's just a little lift. We're just strengthening. It doesn't have to be a big lift. Okay, ready? Lift and lower. Keep your legs together. Little lift and lower. 3. Don't let that top hip roll back. If you need to, kind of press it forward a little bit. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's change sides. We might just have enough time. Hello, gentle people. If you're here, we may run over a little bit in this because I did a lot of explaining, which takes time, and I forget about that. Stack, line up, little lifts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, All right, lay on your back. If you're here for gentle, lay on your back as well. With your legs straight, arms by your side, palms up, thumbs away from you, little fingers toward you. And if you've just done core and you aren't staying for gentle, take some moment to lay here on your back anyway. And everybody, breathe. Feel the belly lift when you breathe. It doesn't go in when you inhale. It expands out when you inhale. And it goes in when you exhale. Inhale, let your belly expand, then the low ribs, then the upper ribs. And exhale, everything sinks back down. Keep breathing. It's the diaphragm that pushes the belly out. It's the diaphragm, and believe it or not, contracting that brings in the inhale. We here, and I always thought that the diaphragm expands, which is why the belly expands. Let the diaphragm expand while you inhale. What it doesn't expand, it contracts. Do a Google search. Find a picture of the diaphragm breathing. It's a sheath. It's like a sheath. It's up under your lungs, kind of like this. And it contracts down as it pulls air into the bottom of your lungs. And that contracting down pushes against your internal organs, which is why your belly expands. Look for a picture. I mean, it's a big, wide sheath. So it's pushing down a lot when it contracts. But all the muscles, when they work, they contract. When they relax, they expand. Keep focusing on the breath. It's an interesting thing. It's interesting to watch that. And it massages your internal organs. It massages your liver. And maybe, probably not, but maybe your kidneys a little bit. And your spleen, and helps with digestion. Allow your diaphragm to work. And because we breathe shallowly, we don't use that muscle very much. And just like any muscle, it gets weak from not being used, but you can strengthen it by starting to intentionally use it. So breathe deeply. Now raise your arms to the floor above your head or out to the side with your elbows slightly bent, maybe just your hands above your head. Hold that and breathe, and see how that changes how you breathe. You're pulling these muscles tight now. So you actually use the diaphragm a little bit more. You actually expand the belly a little bit more because you're pulling the muscles tight around the ribs with your arms overhead. Your belly, your low ribs, your upper ribs. Expand with the inhale still. Exhale. Keep breathing slowly, slowly. Close your eyes. Focus on your breathing. This is a time of relaxation. This is, well, you know, gentle is relative. Gentle yoga. We do work. We do strengthen. We do stretch. But we do it in a way that's more accessible to everybody, especially if you have back pain. You need to be careful. So this is a good class for people with back pain or recovering from surgeries. Okay, one more, a little bit of moving with the breath. And then we'll hold a pose, and then we'll do some other movements. And this loosens up the back. This is good for the hips, increasing and maintaining range of motion. Stretches the back, moves, and strengthens a little bit in the hip area. Arms overhead, wherever you have them overhead, legs on the mat, and you can do this with your knees slightly bent if you can't lay with your legs straight because of back issues. Or you can have a blanket under your knees, which is how I used to always do it. Legs straight, knees slightly bent, or blanket on your knees. Inhale here. And as you exhale, bring your right knee up, bring your arms up, keep your head down. Pull that right knee in, stretch your back. And inhale, lower your leg back to starting, whatever your starting is. Arms overhead. When it's time for your exhale, bring the left knee up as you're exhaling. Finish the exhale. And as you start to inhale, lower the leg, raise the arms back overhead. Keep doing that. Keep bringing the knee up as you exhale. Keep lowering the leg back down, the arms back to starting as you inhale. And alternating sides. Pulling the knee in compresses the belly. You have to do it with an exhale. Letting the leg go down, the arms overhead, your chest open. You do with an inhale. Try to move as you find your breathing speed. Try to move your leg at the same speed as you're breathing. But don't cut the breath off. If your knee comes up before you're done exhaling, finish the exhale while you hold the leg. Keep moving. Alternating sides. This whole little routine is really good for first thing in the morning or last thing at night. This calms the central nervous system, but it also gets the blood flowing and circulating. And if you've been sleeping, you're tight. Even if you toss and turn all night, you're still tight. So this is a good thing to do first thing in the morning, last thing at night. Again, it calms and quiets the mind and the central nervous system. Next time you're holding your right knee, don't just stop and change. Next time you get to the right knee, then just keep holding it. Use your arms to pull that knee in. A little arm muscle working, but your shoulders don't come up. Your shoulders stay relaxed. Don't lift your shoulders. Keep your head down. See if you can use your arm muscles without activating your shoulders. Try to keep your right leg relaxed. We hold these, as you know, for 1 minute. And everything we do subsequently, the movements and the holdings in this routine, we hold for 1 minute. And you can easily find a timer, free apps on the internet. Some of them you can, they're, I forget what the word is, but you can have it start over again. It'll do a beep when it reaches the end of a minute, and then it'll start the next minute over. It'll start a minute over again, so that you don't have to keep looking at the time. Those are handy. Okay, now just put your right hand on the top of the kneecap. If you need to, again, you can bend that left knee a little bit if it feels better on your back. And use your hand to rotate the leg from the hip. This lower part of the leg stays relaxed. When you take it across, don't take it across so much that your low back lifts. Keep your back down, just enough to stretch the hip. Bring it in. And when you take it out, don't take it out so far that your left side lifts. This is for the hip. The reason, keep moving, the reason your body lifts is because you've gone beyond where the hip can move. So you're not gaining anything when you lift your hips. Your body's just adjusting, say, oh, he wants to take the leg all that far. Well, okay, I'll help him do it, but it's not increasing the range of motion in your hips. You need to keep your buttocks is down, your back down as you rotate from the hip to increase the range of motion, and go to whatever your edge is without lifting up. And believe me, trust me when I say this, I know personally and from my experience with my students, if your hips are tight, you're going to hurt your knees. They're connected. The knee only bends one way. It doesn't bend out sideways. To bend your knee out sideways, it's a rotation at the hip. Okay, circle your leg in the other direction. This will be probably less comfortable because we, without doing it subconsciously, our body picks the easier way for us to go the first time. So you're going to be probably going in a way that's not as easy. But again, pay close attention. Do it slowly, slowly. Use your arm to move your leg so your leg can stay relaxed as much as possible. Both buttocks stay down. Opposite buttock stays down. Both buttocks stay down. This is the hip. Try to get the most out of these classes. More is not necessarily, or most of the time, not better. Paying attention to the details and trying to do it within those details. And we'll give a lot of leeway because of backs and things. Okay, bring the knee back in. You will have to straighten out your left leg. And what I would suggest is you put your foot on the mat, so don't hold the knee anymore. You're going to lift your hips up off the mat a little bit and swing them to the right. So when you move your hips to the right, see it tilts your knee a little to the left, your right buttock maybe off the mat, then bring your knee back up with your left hand and take it across the body. Let your right foot rest on your left inner thigh. You can bend your left knee now if you want, so your right foot can rest on your left inner thigh. You might even want to shift a little bit more so your back, you can feel it. Top hip is right above the bottom hip. You don't want to torque it. Press down on that right leg. Hold the twist. This is a great stretch for the back and the hip. Now the right arm, you want to rotate your torso a little bit to the right. Try to get your chest up toward the ceiling while maintaining some pressure on this left leg. But don't pull down with your right arm. Don't pull on the right shoulder. If you need to, you can rest that up. Yeah, keep holding it. I'm just going through all this. If you need to, you can rest your right arm, the upper arm on a block with your elbow bent. If you can't support the low part of the arm, don't let the arm hang off. That'll hyperextend your elbow. Or you can have it on a long blanket so that the whole arm is supported here. Please don't pull on your shoulder just to try to get, with your arm, just to try to get your right shoulder touching the floor. You don't need to touch the floor. This is for the back. Now slowly roll back over, put your right foot on the mat, lift your hips, adjust so your back is flat. Your left leg is straight, or if you need to, the knee can be slightly bent. Your right knee is still bent. Your right knee go out to the right and relax it. Don't let your left hip lift. Don't push it down to the floor if you need to. If it's really painful for the knee because of the tight hip, or it's painful for the hip, put a block under your right knee. Or a blanket. I'm going to do it so you can see the other side and hold it. See, this side isn't lifting. And this side isn't touching. Try not to have your foot out low. Try to have tuck your heel back in. It's easier on the knee if you can bend it more than having the low leg out there and one part of the leg going up and one part going down. This is reclined tree, hold the pose. We may not get to some of those other ones I was planning to because I am going into more detail. So bring your right knee up. Straighten your right leg beside the left. Make sure you feel comfortable, leg on your back. Bring your left knee up and hug it. Shoulders relaxed. Foot relaxed. Left leg relaxed. You can bend the right knee a little bit if you need to. Starting everything on the left side. Hold it. You're hugging your left knee in. Right leg is straight down on the mat, or you can bend the knee a little bit. Try to bend the leg you're not holding, the knee, just a little bit. If you need to, bend it a little bit more. See how little you can bend it to take whatever aggravation you may feel in the low back, to take it away. This set should go a little bit faster because I won't have to go into all those details. Hug your knee in, cup your left hand over the top of the leg and circle from the hip without letting your buttocks come off the mat, either one. Full range of motion as much as you have today, now. So feel it. If you feel your belly starting to push up and your hips starting to lift, then you're going too far. Slowly, mindfully, carefully, shoulders relaxed, jaw unclenched. Since I did go into a lot of detail with this, I will have this available on YouTube for those who want it, as well as in the earlier part with Sun Salutations, with not as much detail as I have in the past, but enough, and core, with the yoga core movements. Now circle your leg in the other direction, please. Mindfully, with awareness to what you feel, to what you're doing. I apologize for those of you who came for gentle that the music, once again, isn't working. That's okay. Before I post it up on YouTube, I will add some music to it. Yes, I can do that. It's just a bit more complicated if it was playing and recording at the same time. Bring your left knee in, put your foot on the mat, shift your hips to the left, bring your knee back up, and take your left knee across to the right with your right hand. Let the left foot rest on your right inner thigh. Don't ever let the foot just hang out in space. Make sure it's resting on something with your left knee bent. Press it toward the floor. Rotate your torso toward the left, supporting your left arm, your left elbow, whatever, so that your arm isn't hanging out there in space either. That's not good. It has to be supported somehow. Even if you just let your elbow touch the floor and let your hand rest on your waist. If you don't have a block or blankets. Remember, and I know I've said this many times, it's not yoga that hurts you, it's you that hurts you. So don't hurt yourself. Now roll back over onto your back. Adjust your back so it's flat and you feel comfortable laying there, and slowly let your left knee go out to the left. You could shift your left foot over just to, it's still on the mat. It's just touching your right inner thigh if you want, and relax it. And if it's not comfortable, put a block underneath your left knee to support it, or a blanket, or whatever is needed. Don't force it down. Don't force it down. And if your right foot lift, don't force it down at all. Just let gravity stretch you. It will do the job. And keep your left knee where it is. You're still laying on your back. And bend your right knee and let your right knee go out to the right bottom. So if your feet together, you can support both knees with the block underneath the knees so you can lay relaxed. Don't try to force your back down. Don't try to force your legs down. Your back will arch a little bit in this. Alternatively, you can put your feet on the block if you don't have to worry about your knees and your hips in pain. And that actually makes the low back sink down to the mat or a blanket while you're doing this. But it is slightly deeper stretch. So if your knee or hip is bothered with the original bound angle, reclined bound angle, then don't put your feet on a block. But if it's your back, putting your feet on even a low block, this is kind of one of the fatter ones, or a blanket, may help as far as the back goes. Yes, I know a lot about modifying for back pain. Obviously, we've talked about that. Okay, bring your knees up. This is one of the ones that we don't do very often, and it's just a simple one. This is from Viniyoga therapy. It's good for the low back. Have both knees in. We know this one. But I want you to just hug them in and let them go out. And pull them in and out. In and out. Holding it over the shins, high on the shins, not low. Up by the knees. In and out. A few more times. These are simple. Nice back stretches. Great at the end of the day if you've been sitting at a desk. Just as I've said, keep doing this, but watch. As I've said, if you put your feet up on a chair with your knees bent, so you have to have your butt in close to the legs of the chair. And that also, just laying there like that is such a relief after a day of sitting or standing and walking all over the place. Okay, cup both hands over the tops of the knees. Keep your legs together. You should do little circles. Notice how little. Notice I'm not going all the way to the side so that my left side starts to lift to my right side. Just keep circling. Keep the legs together. And circle the other way. I'm really in the dark there, which is not a bad thing, right? I guess I could turn my spotlight back on, but we're almost done. So I'm not going to. Oh, this feels so good. Okay, I know I've talked again a lot about the fact that the hamstrings, tight hamstrings, pulls on your back. You can Google the muscles and see how far up those hamstring muscles go. And when they're tight, they're pulling on the back. When you're standing up, because your legs are straight, your body's straight, it's pulling. So when you try to do anything that brings the leg up, it pulls more. So you need to be gentle with that. You need to do things with your knees bent. That being said, pull behind legs on your hamstrings. Have your knees up to the chest. If you cannot, because your hamstrings are really, really tight, then put a strap. Where is a strap? I have a strap here somewhere. There it is. Put a strap. Put a strap around behind, because you're going to be straightening your legs up. Around behind. Like this. Right? But pull your knees in. Try not to lift your shoulders up. So you might want to have your hands wrapped around and down closer to your legs. Otherwise, just hold them. And you're going to slowly, your knees are in, and your elbows are bent, pulling on the strap or with your hands. And then as you allow your arms to straighten, still holding on though, you're going to lift your legs up. But you're not going to let go. You're only going to lift your legs as far as you can without letting go. And then you're going to bend your legs, and as you bend, you're going to bend your elbows and pull your knees back in. With the strap, and have the strap in so your elbows are bent. And then straighten your arms as you lift your legs up. And they won't straighten all the way because you're still pulling a little bit. And then as you bend, bring your knees back in, bend your elbows, straighten your arms, straighten your legs. Press through the heels if you want to really get a good stretch up there. Keep moving. Might be nice to have, for if you do this on your own, to have a blanket, not a blanket, a towel or something wrapped around the strap, because the strap's a little bitey, even if you're using a necktie, which is what we usually used. It pulls in a little bit, so if you wrap a towel around it, it'll give it a little bit of extra padding. So knees in, legs up. Bend elbows, straighten arms, lift legs. Bend elbows, bend knees. Straighten arms, lift legs. A few more times. Okay, feet on the mat. Knees bent. Try, separate, in this case for back, separate your feet a little bit more than hip distance. Don't have your legs squeezing together. Have there be space. And I highly recommend, if you have a block, put a block this way, between your knees, not this way, between your thighs and your knees. So you are encouraged to squeeze inward. But turn your toes out a little bit. You're not pointing straight ahead. Turn your toes out a little bit. Push your low back down to the mat. That's all. Don't lift your hips. So the low back pushed down into the mat. Don't have your heels in so close that your knees are pointing past your heels. Try to make more or less have your shins straight up and down, but if they're out a little bit more, that's okay. And if you find when you do this that it aggravates your back, try moving your heels further apart, toes still turned out. You can be a little bit wider if you need be. You don't need to do the traditional perfect alignment with this. These are the modifications. These are the other ways you can do it for your back. You're still just pushing your low back down and relaxing. Feel how when you push your low back down, your tailbone lifts. Your glutes lift just a tiny bit. Now push your low back down and lift your hips, squeezing gently inward. Not where your legs, if your legs are apart and you're not using a block, you don't squeeze hard. You don't bring your knees toward each other. You just kind of activate your glute muscles. And slowly lower back down. One vertebrae at a time. First movement is pushing your low back down. Lifting from the tailbone up. It's not a high lift. Please don't arch up. Don't push your low back in. Don't stick your belly up toward the ceiling. Arching up, pushing on your low back. Slowly, starting at the topmost vertebrae, slowly rounding down. Excuse me, I'm going to sit up and take a drink in a moment here. Push your low back and lift, and notice, keep the weight on your heels primarily. Keep your feet down, all of your foot down. But don't let the weight go onto the ball of your foot. Make sure it stays mostly toward the heels. And keep moving. Pushing down first with your low back and lifting up. And then one vertebrae at a time, rounding down. Next time you're down, Stay down, have both knees in, rock side to side. We are done. I will see you all on Thursday. Have a great rest of the day and week until Thursday. See you then. Sat Nam. Namaste.